Hey kids, it is Hexray Vision coming to you live with a not so special steak and chill with Hexray and friends, just hanging out today, reaching out, wanted to hang out, say hi, talk to the people in chat, go over what's going on. I don't know if you guys saw the thumbnail that I had. I wonder if I can pull it up here. Maybe I can. See if I can find it here in my files. There we go. See if I can pull this up for you guys. There we go. This is it right here. That's me right there trying to see the bottom of the market the best I can, looking for the bottom of our market. So anyways, check out chat, see who's joined us on this irreverent and fun adventure. Oh man, we've got well, me, I was the first one in the chat. Hexray, we got Boofo on the beat. What's up, gang? Red Squirrel, oi oi. Jen Hex, what's cooking? What's cooking? Is that a homemade telescope? You would think so. You'd think it was a homemade telescope. That was actually one of the art installations at Burning Man. Someone just set up a telescope in the middle of nowhere, and then they marked the different directions to see the temple. And so people went out there with pens or pencils, it looked like, and would find something and then mark it on the grid, and you would just spin it around. And there were some headphones out there. Unfortunately, though, it was just like some weird gobbledygook. I was hoping it was maybe some like nice music or someone guiding you through what to look at Burning Man, but it was just some weird like nonsense going on. We got Yup K, yo, no co-host Galen today. He's downstairs. He's well. I told him, I said, hey, I'm going up to stream. Come up here. Wealthy. Oh, that's clever. That's clever. So it's the word wealthy with a whale in it. I like that. You wealthy. Guess what? You get you get a wrench. Howdy, wealthy. You are now a moderator on my channel. Susie Q is in the chat. What's up, Susie Q? Hey, wonderful. XOXO. Thank you very much. Vibra Finance. What up? How are you doing? How are you doing? See here. I did put the link in Twitter. So if you guys want to jump on Twitter, or actually I'll put the link here in chat too. Anyone that I recognize that looks safe enough to bring on stream, come hang out, chill with us, strike up a conversation. We are still waiting for Pulse Chain. We are still staked. We're still happy. We're still having a great day every day with our T-shares, printing money for us every day. Truly passive income. Finn Bear in the house. Good night, guys. He just showed up to say goodbye and good night. What's up, Finn Bear? You looked so calm and collect there on Hex Foodies the other day. If you guys haven't watched Hex Foodies, they're talking with a tiny house guy on Tuesday, so just a couple days ago, about them putting together these really fancy, cool tiny houses for people that want to live in the tiny house. And yeah, it was great seeing him there. Yep, K's got, I'm not sure which face that is, but I'm not sure he's upset or what. I did see another person up here that did not have a. There we go. Streams are rare in a bear market. Thank blank I found this. You know what? I'm going to add you as a moderator now, G-Unit. G-Unit, you're a moderator. Finbear, no, I'm up. It's 2 a.m. here. Alex P in the house. Hi, good people and family. You'll never guess how many times Alex P helped me out when I was a truck driver. He would show up in weird places at weird times, day and night. He would show me a very simple fix to the truck that was broken down and keep me running and keep me making money for me and my family. He'd help me keep DCAing and putting money into Hex. He's a good dude, very good dude. Godfather J6, what up, everybody? I'm 90% sure Godfather J6 is wrenched. Yep, he is good. That's good to see that. We like to see nothing but blue wrenches in our comments section. A little bit of a ginger power here. A little bit of rags. Not kryptonite. What's the opposite of kryptonite? I guess it would be Earth's yellow sun. It gives you your special powers there. We are sponsored by 5 Hour Energy. At least I would love. The two sponsors I would love to get here are 5 Hour Energies and Little Caesars. I would take 5 Hour Energy and Little Caesars sponsors all day long, because I don't think I will ever stop consuming either of those until the day they put me in the dirt. Yeah. And great value bottled water. We go through a lot of that here because we ain't afraid of no BPA, baby. Nate Steaks in the house. Oh yeah, dude, I jump on here. I think I put the link in the comments, so anyone who wants to jump in the green room, I'll see who shows up and jump on here. How about that cremating toilet? You know what? I don't know about the cremating toilet, because if you're in a tiny house, depending on if it's mobile or not, it seems like throwing in a septic system or having something that could be pumped regularly like you have on an RV seems like a much easier and simpler solution than a cremating toilet. I mean, here's the fun thing is, when we were in the military, they used to have these 55-gallon steel barrels that they'd cut in half, and they would use those in the outhouses. And then when they got full, they would fill them with fuel and light them on fire. And that was one of the jobs out there. You'd go out there and you would stir these burning sewage barrels until it was, basically cremated, taken care of. And you're not going to believe this, but a lot of people got really, really sick doing that, and now they're paying out a lot of disability compensation for that. So, Wealthy says, "Crazy bread!" Exclamation point. Yeah, the crazy bread's good. Their stuffed crust is good. Their thin crust is really good. Finbear says, "Seems like the only festive thing living on a tiny home." It's the only festive thing. I don't know about that. He says, "I asked if you could blast one with the lid open." That would be unpleasant. That would probably fill the tiny home with tiny, horrible smoke if you did that. So, anyways, I can check and see if Gamma Ray wants to come up here and join us. He does have his girlfriend over, who is a real girl and a real human. So, we're proud of him for that one. She's also a Hexican. She's also staked out 92%, we just found out. So, it says, "I thought you were talking about the medieval age." Nate Stakes, being in the military, it is very, very much like the medieval ages. There's not a lot of stuff going on that's in the real world there. You wouldn't think that you're in the current century. Sorry, off topic. No, I thought it was a really good stream. Definitely, I really enjoy all the comments that Davin, Eco Builder, bring to the forefront there. That's pretty good. You know, I don't know. I think I should do like some sort of an update on these. You know, I mean, it is September 22nd today, the date of this recording. And let's go through and check the prices of the coins that I keep an eye on. I used to keep track of Pulse Doge until I sold all of it. And so I don't check Pulse Doge anymore, but let me pull up Dex Screener here on my watch list. So today, and this will be fun, you know, in a few months we can go back and, or even a year, you'll go back, watch the stream and listen to these prices. It'll blow your mind because we'll either be much higher or much lower in the next year. So we got Maxi token is at just over 7 cents. 71 is 0.071. We got Hedron, which is 5 zeros and 2874. That's pretty good hanging on there, being close to the 3. Then we got Hex. Hex is at 0.0318. And Icosa is just barely holding on to $1. Right now it's $1.02. So it went down below $1 and then it's got its chin right above $1. And then the team token is now 0.069. Nice. 1-1. So yeah, 0.069 for team. And I expect to see nice typed in the comments anytime that someone on stream says 69. We have Wealthy says, I have a girlfriend, ... She lives in Canada. I think that's a line from a movie of someone who obviously doesn't have a girlfriend. Mobius, good to see you. Hello, all. Hex Cowboy, Maxi is a steal at this price. I agree. This is a crazy thing about all of our stakes. All of our copies, all of the Ethereum forks right now. You know, you've got the ETH and the ETH the proof of work, then you got ETH Fair, and I'm really honestly just chilling. Like, I would love to be able to go on there and buy a whole bunch of Hex or a whole bunch of Maxi or a whole bunch of Team at whatever price you're going to get it for. But the truth is, like, the DEXs aren't up and running as far as I know. And even if they are, there's so little liquidity, you're just biting like $20 at a time, $100 at a time, over and over and over and over again. It's going to take some time to move some money into those forks, even at these prices. But I think over time, Hex is going to prove itself very valuable on all chains for sure. And Maxi, I mean, I really can't express how beautiful and amazing Maxi is. Maxi is liquid Hex. It's liquid locked Hex that represents the hardest working Hex in the game. You know, I think they even locked it up during the bonus of Hedron. I'm pretty sure they did. I can't remember what the X of Hedron is they got, but holy moly, like, it's pretty amazing. Hex Cowboy says, so you support all chains? I definitely do. Anyone that's got money out there that's willing to give me money, I'm very supportive of that person. The thing that I keep saying on all of my streams over and over, and that I comment in the chat of all of my homies that are streaming out there, is the two things that are in short supply that are rare in crypto are community and work. There's not real communities out there, not very many real communities out there. And there's not very many people putting in work, coding, front end, fixing bugs, onboarding, marketing. There's really not a lot of that out there. It's crazy. Tin Top, what's up, Hexicans? Hey, Tin Top, good to see you, man. Weird Science, that's the movie. Oh man, I wish I could say that I watched Weird Science at the age of 11 or 12, and my body was going through changes I didn't understand back then. But I definitely remember the movie Weird Science. Big time. That was a crazy one. I have a girlfriend. She lives in Canada. Hex Cowboy. Once the interoperability is figured out, it's game over. Now, are you saying that it's game over for ETH proof of stake, or are you saying it's over for Ethereum if once Pulse launches? Comment on that, Nate Stakes. And if you're near a computer or a microphone and a camera, join us here. I'm going to post it again in case you guys are new here. This is a StreamYard link. Come hang out, come chat, come shoot the shit. We got nothing but time. We're doing nothing but growing beards, waiting for Pulse Chain. We're doing nothing growing our beards, waiting for this market to finish crashing. Baby, just crash. Oh, okay, so here we go. Any hex money printer is a money printer. That's true. I love all money printers the same. Hex Cowboy agrees. And then Nate Stakes says, at Hex Cowboy, we would find parity so fast with interoperability. Yeah, as soon as people build the bridges, the dexes, the front ends, all that stuff, I totally agree. Parity is what you're going to see. I don't believe that we'll find exact parity because not all networks are created equal. I don't trust the Ethereum Foundation as far as I can throw them. If you could throw the Ethereum, I don't know how that would look actually picking up all the people and throwing them. But the truth, I mean, the Ethereum Foundation is a bunch of blood-sucking nerds that don't understand business. They don't understand money. And I think that, I give them props for creating a network that Richard Hart was able to launch Hex on. And I'm really happy they existed for that. Other than that, they were in the right place at the right time. They got really, really lucky figuring out a Turing complete network. Just something that you could actually build smart contracts on. But if you look at the smart contracts that have been built on top of Ethereum, most of them are pure garbage and don't run well and don't do what they say they're going to do. Or even if they do, here's the deal. Dan Larimer created BitShares so long ago. I remember BitShares. BitShares worked really, really well. It would have eventually overwhelmed the Ethereum community, but BitShares was basically the stock market on blockchain before Reggie Middleton claimed to do it, but he didn't pull that off. Adam, give me a thumbs up. Maybe flash me, your chest if you're ready to come on. I got Adam from Vibra Finance in the green room, ready to rock. What's up, homie? All right, now
what up?
You don't have to flash me your chest anymore because they really hate nipples on YouTube. I found.
We flash these.
Oh my gosh, dude! Are you trying to get me to fall off the wagon? I was doing so good before we went to Vegas, and then when I got to Vegas, I ate nothing but junk food for like 6 days straight, man. Those cookies they look so good.
They're amazing, bro. Erwin brought them when he came in November, and they're these like stupid waffle things, and they're like a honey and like maple inside. And he had like Hex ones, Richard Hart ones, and he mailed them out to Vegas for us, but they got there late, so I wasn't able to give them out to everyone. So now they're being shipped from Vegas back to New York, back out to you. So these things have literally traveled around the world.
That's awesome. So they're well-traveled. They've seen a lot of cultures. They're almost like refined cookies at this point.
100%. Shout out to Erwin, Facing Reality, for making them. He's a legend.
Facing Reality, dude. Yeah, shout out. He's such a cool dude in our community. To know that he's behind this crazy cookie game, that's pretty awesome too. Finbear says game over for everyone else. I totally agree, man. Like Hex, once Hex shows the strength of its community and how hardworking and amazing we are on more than one chain, like it's going to be so undeniable. So he's saying we're filthy rich. Yeah, final dump mid-November. I hope so, dude. Hex Cowboy, I think that we're going to have to feel a lot of pain in December and January, just globally, because I think that's when they'll finally, hopefully, stop raising the Fed rate, right? And that's hopefully when, and the energy crisis in Europe is a real thing, dude. Like they went up 100x in their energy costs. So when things get cold, when the weather turns cold in Europe, they're in a lot of trouble right now. And a lot of people don't think that that's like a domino. That's a domino that could very easily be tipping over some other dominoes, man. So I pray for us to hit rock bottom in November, but I'm thinking that we're going to be more around February, March, January, February, I think is when the bottom is really going to fall out, and we're going to see real capitulation, like people running around screaming that the sky is falling. That's my guess. However, let me say this: 90% of my predictions are really wrong. They're dead wrong. Like I'm like 95% off on all of my predictions. So take that with a grain of, like, maybe even not even a whole grain of salt. Like you might need to bash up that little grain under a microscope and take one of the grains of a grain as far as my predictions.
I mean, I think you're right though, bro. I mean, they're off until November. The elections are coming. They're gonna hype everything up until the elections, and then Powell already said 2 more rate hikes. So we're gonna have another 75 points, I think, November, December. And then that should be it. Max Payne by January-ish, hopefully.
Yeah. And then as the other two insane macro events we have going on, you got the Bitcoin halving in May of 2024. So sometime in that spring is where we should be picking up some steam in crypto.
So and then Max, that's now happening in December 23.
No way, it's moved up that far.
It's now from the very end of December next year. So wow. I thought the same thing, and I just saw a podcast this past week, and they were talking about it, and I was like, wait, you got to be kidding me. Like, that's more bullish news for the end of next year. So, 2023 being just a complete bloodbath, I don't see that happening. I mean, it very well could, but personally, I don't think so.
This is why I invite people onto my stream, because I don't keep up with things. I just keep repeating the same thing months and years after it's out of date. So that's why we have smart people like Adam join us. That's why I'm friends with you, Adam, because when I talk out of my side of my mouth, so to speak, you're here to be like, Max, that's not accurate anymore.
Yeah, I mean that was accurate up until I found out about it like literally a week or so ago. So it's newer, but that's like you were talking about community. That's what the community is so important, and it's evident from going to several other community parties, not outside the Hex community, and just seeing what they have going and how enthusiastic they are, and thinking, oh my God, we got this amazing community. They're a year behind us, at least. They're where we were last June at the first meetup, scrambling around. All these other communities, they're just having their first in-person meetups. So we're so far ahead, and it's going to really start to show itself.
Definitely. Nate Stakes is in the green room. Nate Stakes, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to roll. I see you like adjusting your camera and checking to see if you have spinach in your teeth. You look good, dude. You look good. All right, cool. Boom. What's up, man?
What's up, brother? How you guys doing?
Good. I'm trying to pull up a TradingView Bitcoin chart right now as we're talking about this. Just because if you look at the halvenings on Bitcoin, on the big old chart, you can see exactly what happens to crypto after each halvening. It's insane.
100%.
You guys ready? You guys ready for that bottom to come in here in the next couple, hopefully months?
That's what we were just talking about. I'm predicting, because we're not just waiting for the bottom of crypto. We're waiting for the bottom of like the U.S. economy, the stock market, and for all this inflation to just wreck working people in the whole world. Like I said, the energy costs in Europe are like 100 times higher than they were last year. Like not just like in the last 10 years, like they're just jumped incredibly with all the craziness going on, with all the inflation.
Real estate too. That's a bubble that's got to burst.
But does it? because that's what I keep asking myself. Because remember, we thought that the stock market was going to crash way sooner because of inflation, and then it took off because of inflation. The banks just handed all the money out to their friends, and their friends had nowhere to put it except for the stock market and banks. So when the stock market should have crashed way harder, way sooner, and banks should have gone out of business and had to sell, non-performing real estate, stock markets and banks just took off, and everyone was like ready to short them, right? So the question is, real estate should definitely be crashing, like definitely, but we live in the upside down world, man. Like nothing makes sense anymore. They've hit that button of like morphine so many times that this patient might live another couple months just straight on morphine instead of crashing like it's supposed to.
Yeah, and when you got things like BlackRock, and you have just Chinese citizens, the CCP buying up so much real estate that's never happened before. So that could be something that keeps the market kind of afloat, because half of these portfolios now are reliant on real estate. That's the only thing keeping them afloat. So it has to be artificially propped up, or else everything melts down. So you could be right. I mean, which is just makes for an even crazier situation. I mean, everything's so out of whack.
Yeah, it's bananas. Somebody in the comments named Nate Stakes says, haha, true, well said. I like that guy. Tin Top follows Dan Larimer. Finbear, flash them pasties. Okay, Finbear is still stuck on the fact that I asked you guys to flash your shirts in the green room. Moby says, put 100 in ETH, swapped 90 into Hex on a dip at 00049. Went ahead and staked Thrycosa 27 T-shares for $100 in ETH. That if we come anywhere close to parity, we're partying at Mobius's house and he's paying for the sandwiches, dude. That's sweet. That's a great way to pick up some T-shares. And then Crypto King in the house, Hex Cowboy. But do we consider ETH POS still the main wheelhouse? I say yes for now, because that's where the Ethereum community is. That's where the support is. That's where the work is. That's where the front end is. That's where the dexes are. That's where you can get your money in and out of. So right now, that ETH POS is king for now. Go ahead, Nate. It sounded like you had something there.
Oh, nothing. I'm just preparing. I'm just trying to mentally prepare for the transition into blockchain everywhere. So I think that, if we base it around, if we're being the 2030 agenda, this technically may not be the big crash, like a Great Depression kind of deal. And then, like you guys said, how the real estate market's being artificially like kept up. So maybe this is that time, because we had in January, was it 12th, the Fed white paper. So maybe that's part of the Shemitah that's coming up, and all these big events is the transition fully into blockchain all the way into the next bull run. So it's pretty interesting. I'm eager to see, because it's inevitable, right? You had the Fidelity Capital, Citadel Capital, and one of the big stock guys. They made EDX markets for their crypto exchange. They're showing us their hands, right? So it's just going to be interesting on how they're going to implement it over the next year, 2-3 years.
Yeah. Tin Top says, I heard the 4.4 is the target fate hike. It's kind of like a Freudian slip there, because he meant rate hike, but dude, it definitely is our fate to be paying some silly interest rates in the future. Crypto King in the house, and you're never going to guess this, Crypto King. You got a wrench. Everybody gets a wrench if you show up at Hexray Vision's house. Everyone's happy to see here. We got Academaciated in the house. And Finbear says, I bet BlackRock is buying up everything.
Yeah.
Was it BlackRock that Texas kicked out? Like Texas kicked like 2 weird investment companies out of their state. And one of them, I want to say, was either BlackRock or Grayscale, or one of those big people that buy everything on earth. They basically were just like, yeah, we don't want you in our state. Like, you're not good for anyone here. You're just a black hole of money and power.
They just how partner with Coinbase, so they're what, $10 trillion in assets. That's going to eventually make its way digitally onto the blockchain, like through tokenized real estate, through tokenized stock. It's all coming eventually. So I've heard a lot of that too. What you were saying about this just being one big bull run and coins starting to like XRP, XLM starting to kind of decouple from the rest of the market because they're actually being utilized right now. And that kind of flips the switch of, you know, a new crypto market that's utility driven instead of all this meme spec, you know, metaverse bullshit.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's all just lingo right now. Where the real work and adoption is, it's not being talked about.
Right. It's all being kept or on the hush hush or yeah. And they're only showing the stuff that's already 13 years old to people. And
yeah,
definitely.
We got Algorand pumping hard today, and that's Gary Gensler's his baby. I mean, he taught at MIT. He's so connected to MIT. Algorand will be a coin that thrives just because of who's in charge right now. They will make sure it's at the front of everything because his connections are with MIT. I mean, Gary Gensler is as corrupt as they come. I mean, he's going to make sure he chooses who wins.
I think he said something about like how all cryptos are securities, basically. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's now saying that ETH 2.0 is a security because you're now locking up your coins and expectations for profit.
Well, not only that, but there's only two main entities that are doing the proof of stake right now. They're like, there's basically two big groups that are getting all the coins now, that was the whole point of ETH POS. It wasn't like to save the environment, like we all know. It was to give money to your friends or the people you owe money to, right? And so there you go. They're like, yeah, these two people are basically making all the money. That's a security. Like they're basically running Ethereum.
Yeah. Now I saw some too where they're trying to say if you have a node that's ran in the United States, you got to come register with the SEC or a validator. So if you have a node out there, you know, for Pulse Chain, you're in the United States, you're gonna maybe think twice about this now, about taking it elsewhere. I mean, it's something you're gonna have to consider. I was just reading about that this week. It's like, wow, they're trying to drop the hammer.
Yeah, and anything that they can't commandeer and take over, they're going to try and regulate, tax, and make illegal.
Well, that's what's scary about all the IRS agents that they hired. It makes you think who they're really going to come after, you know, what they're trying to do in the dark and the shadows, what they're not showing. That's the most important, right? It's like the stuff that they're saying and not showing.
Yeah, the IRS is going to come after anyone who can't afford a lawyer and a CPA. If you can afford a lawyer and a CPA, you're not the low-hanging fruit. Exactly. They're going after people that are just going to roll over, freak out, and pay them.
I see.
You know, unfortunately, they're going after the low-hanging fruit. We got Hex Farmer. What's up, Hexray? Finally caught a stream. Guess what, Hex Farmer? You got a wrench. We got Tin Top hanging out. The Shemitah has been going all year. The end of Shemitah may be an uneventful. It's just usually not, you know. And I mean, Shemitah or not, there's cycles to all this stuff, and that's why I brought up the screen of Bitcoin USD right here. Like, check it out. This is the last few cycles, 4-year cycles, boom, boom, you know, and boom right here. And if I'm correct, let me see if I can get rid of Jiminy Christmas. If I can get this right here, I'm pretty sure that it was around June of 14 right here. Or somewhere in the summer of 14 this is the I believe the Bitcoin halving right here on the chart. And then, of course, spike. And then over here, you've got also in the summer of 17, I think it was like 14, then 17, like right here, right around here is where you had the halving. And so like it was right on the right on when it broke the last low and spiked, right? And then 2020, it was also in the summer, I'm pretty sure, right around here. This is the last happening right here, right around here in this area.
Yep.
And then boom, spike. Now, this is what I find really interesting are these very very not disguised at all red candles right here. You have these ones right here where the exchanges will crash the price and pick up as much as they can right here. Like you can see the people in the know are spiking, like really causing the big capitulation right here. And they do it every cycle, dude. Like check out this one right here. Check out that bad boy right there. Boom.
Bro,
They shake everyone out. They brought it all the way back down to $3,000 and cleaned everyone out right here.
Yeah, everyone
margined everyone out.
They like faked
because
a little
they knew this was coming up. Like they're the ones running the stable coins. They're the one running the order.
Where do you think in that chart all the tether printing affected it? Because obviously each cycle, you know, it's going to kind of flatten out the parabolic growth. So
yeah,
it's just crazy that with all the tether printing and recycling, that this last halving, I mean, it really didn't, compared to the first two cycles where it went parabolic, this last one kind of didn't do much.
Yeah. Well, they're taking longer to spike. They're spiking for a shorter amount of time. And they're also getting front ran. Like this is a front run right here. This is people like ready for the crash. They weren't willing to wait for it. And I think that a lot of people, the institutions and some banks and maybe some of the exchanges weren't ready for this to be front ran right here. So they prop it up, take their profits up here, and then they let it crash. Yeah. Then they let it go down. So look for this candle right here sometime around the halving. This is a monthly chart, by the way. You're going to see a candle where people are going to think they went up. Now, this is actually that weird +1 token scam right here that we're seeing. This is not normal. This bounce right here. This is when in China, they took like billions of people's Bitcoin right here and had everyone buying Bitcoin and getting the +1 token. So this isn't normal, but this repeats right here. You see this candle on every one of these, you know, dips and cycles, even back to here where you see like this one right here before it went up. So yeah, when they do the Darth Maul candle and leverage everyone out right around, well, what should be sometime in December of 23 till the spring or the winter of 24, that's the next one. So anyway,
nice.
That's something I show everyone, that all my onboards. I'm like, look, this is why it's a 5-year plan, because depending on where you are in the cycle, until we completely decorrelate from the economy and until we are what everything else is correlated to, right? Until until crypto's leading the market, we're going to follow the stock market. We're going to follow Bitcoin, unfortunately, until we don't. And I have no clue when it'll be that we decorrelate. But over time, the RH ecosystem will definitely prove itself to be a true evolution in money, in my opinion. You know,
even the ETH right now, the migration over, I mean, it's the equivalent of a triple Bitcoin halving. I mean, the supply that's being minted daily is now gone. So that's gonna eventually really start to drive the price of ETH up. I mean, obviously right now it was a sell the news event, but in the next 6 months, a year from now, it's really gonna start to put a lot of just sell pressure on the coin and relieve some of that sell pressure.
Yeah. Tin Top says, lawyer up, let the IRS go after Uber drivers and Door Dashers. Because that's what they will. They'll go after who's out there hustling, making money, but didn't, think ahead for taxes. Hex Sailing, great stream. Thank you very much, Hex Sailing. And Hex Sailing, you just got a wrench. We got CMO says, so does Pulse Chain really solve all our problems? Starting to feel like we're just going to all be screwed by regulation. The truth is, yes, we will always be screwed by all regulation, always, unless you're the person writing the regulation, which are basically the billionaires, right? If you're a billionaire and up, you're part of the group that's doing the lobbying and writing the regulation to, help you and the politicians. There's a reason that politicians, it's like, I can't remember that it costs like an average of like $200 million or some crazy amount to run for Congress and Senate. Where do you think that money comes from? Right? And why is it that everyone retires from the Senate and Congress as billionaires on a salary of like $100,000 a year? That math doesn't add up.
It's just Geppetto. It's just Geppetto behind them.
Exactly. You don't show up there without owing people a lot of money and trying to ride the wave of power and money yourself. Right? So you're definitely that actually didn't answer the question of, so does Pulse Chain. Pulse Chain does solve a lot of our problems because we cannot trust the Ethereum Foundation to do anything in our best interest, but we can trust Pulse Chain and the Hexicans to watch our back and have a good network that we can run our smart contracts on. So as far as that's concerned, yes. The other thing that I'll bring up is who was it that was saying this? I think it was Crypto Coffee when he was talking to Stoic about that on and off ramp that they're working on. He's like, I try to get a good software to report my crypto. I give it to the best CPA I can find, and I try to pay my taxes and stay on their good side, right? But the truth is, how do you explain Maxi and Hedron to a CPA, let alone the government? Like, we're innovating so fast. We're light years ahead of regulation and politicians. And I mean, let's just call them what they are. They're just thugs. They're just extortionists. They're just criminals in nice suits that talk about babies and apple pie and make people cry once in a while. They're just the mob. That's all they are. They're just the mob. And we're so much smarter, and technology so much faster than these criminals that come after us for our taxes, that you just do what you got to do. There's some people that do the Puerto Rico thing. There's some people like me that pay a lot of money to some lawyers and accountants and get as creative as we can, trying to find any tax breaks that are left out there, which there aren't a lot. And then, that's then there's those that just fake their death, change their name, and take off with their private keys. I think that would definitely be my move if I didn't have a wife and kids. I would straight up just change my name, fake my death, and then you'd have some dude in Germany telling cheesy dad jokes, being like, "Hi, I'm Todd McClintoff, and here's how you start a hex stake." No relation to Hexray Vision. I would just, because I probably wouldn't be able to keep my mouth shut even after I fake my death. But the truth is, like, that's kind of your options there. Like, there's the risky stuff, and then there's the other stuff. Another amazing idea that my buddy gave me is to overpay your taxes. He says overpay your taxes for the last 4 years. Don't take all your deductions, and then when they come around to audit you, make them pay. It's kind of like how certain berries in nature are really, really sour. Even if they're not poison, they're so bitter that no animal will eat them. You leave a nasty taste in the IRS's mouth, right? They come after you, they write you a check. They hate giving people money because that's not what they're there for. They're there to take money. So you do it like a couple times. If the first time you do it, they're going to think, he got lucky, right? And they're going to put you in their database. We're going to hit them again in 4 years. They'll hit you again in 4 years. Guess what? They're writing another check. At that point, I guarantee you, in their database, there's a little icon next to your name saying, don't mess with this dude. We've written him 2 checks. We're not writing him a 3rd check, right? That's also an amazing strategy, I think. Just overpay him. And then you can go back and you can amend your taxes 5 to 6 years back and get your money back. But you just always leave that meat on the bone. So if they come after you, they get that nasty taste in their mouth. I like that idea too.
That's a good one. And plus, like you just said, Worth, Hedron, Maxi, Icosa, we're so far ahead of them that if you were to come try to find all my transactions on all my different wallets, I mean, you're gonna have to take half the IRS and put them on just me. I mean, it's a losing proposition. So I think it's just to scare people into saying exactly what you said. People that and they get a letter and they're like, oh my God, and they just pay.
Just take my money. Just take my money and leave me alone.
So it's good. They're targeting, a certain demographic, and it's horrible.
Yeah, that's true. It really is. It's targeting a certain demographic that they know doesn't have the time, doesn't have the money to defend themselves, and is easily scared. Mm-hmm. Because, people are more terrified of the IRS than they are, like actual bad criminals that would show up to your door. That's no joke. Risology says, I can help you disappear. I know of an abandoned underground bunker. I'm picturing just like a hut in his backyard that he's hand dug with a shovel. He's got a couple of like an old doghouse that he's buried down there. I'm sure he'd charge me a very reasonable rate to live there. Tin Top says, truth, criminals or are complacent with the criminal activity. Yes, for sure. CMS says, brilliant. Cowboy says, so what about the ISO 2022 narrative? This is something I've heard you mention quite a few times, Adam, is the ISO standard.
It's basically for all businesses, they're going to have to comply with a certain standard. If you're in trade messaging, financial messaging, you're going to have to use carbon negative technology, basically. It's all just a narrative to shove through the new agenda, the new CBDCs, everything digital, on the blockchain, traceable. And, it depends. I think everybody's different how it's going to affect you. I mean, people that are on like welfare and getting stimulus money right now, they're going to be you're going to get your Fed Now wallet next year, and that's where your money's going to go. So your money's going to now be tracked by the government. Other people that aren't relying on that, I think, will be able to use other systems. But the ISO standards, I mean, that is basically for businesses right now. And trade finance, I wouldn't really worry about it for individuals, but in the future, it's basically a standard. And
Nate had to drop out. His phone was dying, but it's really, really good to have him on here. Yeah. So it sounds like that's another way for them to make up their own set of rules or impose their rules and push out competition, right?
Yeah, and exactly. And it's a way to track everything. So like, right, if you have a shipping container right now that's coming from China and it's full of like Nike shoes, and they're going to get scattered all to every Foot Locker around the country, you're going to be able to go to your phone and scan a pair of shoes and see where all the materials came from, where it was made, when it was shipped, when it was put on the shelves, and make sure everything's authentic. And that's going to be done through Quant, Hedera, and all these distributed ledgers. And all the companies using those services are going to have to choose ledgers that are compliant with the ISO standards. So if you can go to ISO222.org, I believe you can read all about it, and it's good as deep as you want. But for the average person, it's really not going to affect you much at first. But I mean, who knows where they're going to go with this green narrative, the 2030 thing, the digital IDs. I mean, well, I just saw a thing that TikTok might be in trouble for saving everyone's facial recognition for your apps. So like when you log in with the face scan, I guess TikTok might be keeping that data. Yeah. So I mean, it's crazy.
How do you, unless you're like a genius, I mean like a technical genius, how are you ever going to find out where your information goes when it leaves your phone? How are you going to actually track it?
Yeah.
Unless you're one of the dudes buying it or collecting it, you don't know where it goes.
No.
Right. Pelican 369 finally caught a live one, fresh back from Vegas. Whoop whoop! Great stream as usual. Thank you very much, Pelican. If you guys enjoy this, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Tell your friends that there's a goofy dude telling dad jokes on the internet, and he occasionally has very intelligent guests on, like Adam here. Get him here to the party. Appreciate that. And guess what, Pelican? You got a wrench. You've all got a wrench. I got a CMO. You got a wrench. Dave Seeley says, Tin Top says, perfect strategy. I love putting nasty tastes in government agents' mouths. That sounds like it might be talking about something else. David Seeley says the government is trying to eliminate the middle class. Been doing since the 60s. Yeah. It got a hell yeah from Brissology. You're going to need that underground Hexagon Railway to get out of Cali, Brissology. Yeah, California is he calls him Hexagon Tubman. And Nate Snake, thanks again, fellas. Nice meeting you, brother. Awesome. Good to see you.
Yeah, we'll definitely got to do it again.
Yeah, give it bad viruses. I agree. That's awesome. Yeah, so I mean, we're just, like I said, it feels like we're watching a plane crash in slow motion. The economy, stock market, and the government working to get its grasp and hang on to its power and authority. But I don't know. I mean, like, most people are very emotional and easy to manipulate. So all the government has to do is convince people that it's in control and that it's in their best interest and that, it's deciding the winners and losers. But it's becoming more and more difficult thanks to technology, right?
Yeah. And then with technology, if you want to try to look for information, if you don't know how to search Google or stuff, you get filtered and sent to stuff that is almost meant for you to be seen. It's not really freely searching the internet anymore unless you really know what you're doing. So it's scary.
Yeah, for sure. Tin Top says, eat the bugs or get off the welfare. You may collapse social security welfare programs to just push those poor souls on the public. I don't know why he gave the government people an Asian accent, but he did there. That's pretty funny. Snap on, baby. Pelican. Awesome. Yeah, but I feel so fortunate to be in this place right now. Like very few people understand crypto. Very few people understand anything about wallets or how to buy or move coins. And even fewer people understand that there's this community of the Richard Heart ecosystem that is light years ahead of understanding what's good, what's bad, what works, what doesn't, what counterparty risk even is, and how to avoid it. And I feel like so grateful and lucky to be here and to rub shoulders with smart, awesome people like you and the people we met in Vegas. Like, where do you find people like that? Where you sit and have the conversations that I had with Funding Jim, the conversations that I had with Dipcatcher, the conversations that I had with you and Lindsay. There's so much like insane brain power in this group of our community. I just gush about it all the time because I'm so grateful.
It's awesome. And like, even like past us, like the kids are starting now to get a little bit older, and like they see us with like the crypto stuff and kind of like the conspiracy hat stuff. So they see this and then they go back to school and it's a complete different agenda. So they're almost like outcasts in school when they talk about crypto's real and this and that, and all their people around them are like, oh, that stuff's so Bitcoin's fake. So like, for us and our kids to kind of start networking, and I really think the school systems are public school is getting out of control up here in New York. I mean, I don't know how much longer people are gonna take sending their kids here with the current stuff they're teaching them.
But it's the same thing as targeting that middle class we were talking about with the IRS, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. There's certain people that don't have a choice. They need the built-in babysitters that school provides. They've got to go work their 2 jobs. Their spouse has to go work their 2 jobs just to afford rent and food, right? So for a lot of these people, what choice do they have other than to send their kids to public school? It's really a difficult spot to be in.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you shut the economy down for a year and a half. So these people are at work or they're working from home now with the kids at home. I mean, it causes so much stress and just chaos that it's not healthy.
Yeah. That's crazy. Brissology says, I just saw a YouTube short earlier about some African community making mosquito steaks and how happy they are collecting hundreds of thousands of mosquitoes per steak. Barf, taking a large bowl and swinging it left and right. Swarm. The kids are smiling for the cameras doing it. That sounds like a disgusting steak to me.
Was it funded by Bill Gates?
Yeah. Bill Gates is out there. He's buying them the bowls. Dave Sealy says, you're doing what you're supposed to. That's why you're there doing your thing. It's great to watch. Thank you very much, Dave Sealy. I actually shared a truck with Dave Sealy before I was retired. He was actually one of my quote unquote truck mates, where we would share the same truck day shift and night shift back in the gold mines. And I started preaching to him way back then, saying, dude, you gotta get this Bitcoin. I've got to reach out and help his spouse get some stuff together. So thanks for being here, Dave, and keep him up to date on Team and Maximus and all those things, because the difficult thing about onboarding somebody is that things change in crypto so fast. Yeah. And even in a bear market where basically you're just telling people DCA, the Hexagon community is coming up with all these crazy innovations. So you're calling all of your onboards every week, every month, being like, okay, now it's time to mint your team. Now it's time to stake your ICOSA. Now it's time. And they're like, what are all these coins? Like, how did I get all these coins? And they're like, they're all free for the most part. Like they're just blessings of being in the right place at the right time. And it's not always easy to keep everyone up to date. And a lot of people, unfortunately, they're busy and they slip through the cracks. But on this next spike, people are going to see the few $100s or the few $1,000s that they were able to put into crypto become some insane amount of money. And then that's kind of what's going to knock a bunch of them off the fence and down the rabbit hole like we did. Because most of us saw a spike. For me, it was, the $1,000 spike. Then it crashed down to $150 when I started learning about Bitcoin. And I thought, okay, if it ever goes back up to 1,000, I can really do something with this. But it didn't go up to 1,000. It went up to 20,000. And like I said, I saw that spike in that crash, and I said, it's like learning to surf, right? You see the waves come and go, and you get knocked off your board a couple times, right? And then you're like, okay, I'm catching the next wave. And a bunch of people are going to be catching this 24, 25 wave. And people, all their friends and neighbors and coworkers are going to say, I thought you were crazy. Just show me what to do. Just tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do. Tell me where to put the money for the next one. And then in 28, 29, the next spike, that's going to be a whole nother wave of converts into the RH ecosystem. Also, I mean, a lot of people degens will get caught up in crypto because that's what they hear about. The news talks about Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Until it starts to talk about Hex.
What about cell phones that are going to be integrating hardware wallets into the next generations? Solana's putting out, or Polygon's putting out a phone. Solana's putting out a phone. Ledger's integrating with I think Samsung or Android. So you're going to see all hardware wallets in our phones. So it's all moving towards interoperability and just easier use and community driven. And we're so far ahead in the Hex community.
Oh, for sure. Tintop says, I'm not picky. I've eaten chicken omelets, 2 generations of one species and one entree. Yummy. If you can cook delicious foods, I'll eat it. Don't care what society feels. And then Bobby Hexelrod says, it's tough when your staking ladder is reduced to a step stool. So an extra $25,000 times 2 for my kids to go to private school is not an option right now. I'm actually homeschooling. Dude, Bobby Hexelrod, I salute you, because my wife and I have sat down many times and said, we are not made for homeschooling. And luckily, because I have 400 children and most of them are females do a lot better in school than boys do. Like my one son that I had, he really, really struggled with the school system because of, the way that women, boys and girls learn is completely different.
Yep.
Yeah. And Mobius says, we've been homeschooling for 20 plus years. Dude, I salute you. My hat is off to anyone that takes the responsibility to teach their children especially like all the crazy stuff that we know compared to, you know, what they're taught at school. Yeah, Mobius, respect, hardest job I've ever taken on. And that's the reason my wife and I have never wanted to do it, because Jiminy Christmas, we already like have some tough times with our kids. I can only imagine trying to be a teacher and a parent at the same time. That's awesome. Hexworm says, that's what I'm dealing with. Busy AF. I just found out that I have like 4 days to make moves on all the Maximus DAO coins. Yeah. Like I'm having a crypto party at my house tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. And I just shoot out a spam email to all my onboards. And I'm like, hey, bring your laptops, show up. We'll go through wherever you're at in your crypto journey, because there's just not enough time to go to each of them individually.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome that you can do that. And, you know, people that you were driving, sharing trucks with, like, that goes such a long way.
Yeah. Mobius says, my wife is a saint. They'd be dead if I did it all.
Yeah. Moby, he's awesome. He's in, I see him posting stuff all the time on Twitter of knocking walls down and building stuff. But he's always doing something by hand. I wish I was that handy. I mean, I can't do anything with car repairs. I mean, some stuff around the house, but 90% of it, it's just like, man, I'm worthless.
Dude, one time I tried changing the oil in a Bronco, an old Ford Bronco, and I didn't know it, but when I took the old filter off, the O-ring was stuck up there, right? So I put the new filter on, but it didn't seal because it had 2 of those gaskets, and I would start it and just flood the whole street with oil. I did this 3 times before I found out the stupid gasket was on there. This is like, that's the level of my mechanic abilities right there.
Well,
it's very, very low, very poor.
That far of attempted to even drain oil out of a car.
Yeah, it's crazy. Bobby Hexelrod, what curriculum do you use? That's a good question. I know a lot of my friends that were homeschooling were using basically Khan Academy and a couple other websites. But everyone that I know that was homeschooling has gone back to school just because it was too difficult on their household to try and run a school for their children. Now, granted, these people all had like 4 kids, 5 kids, that's a lot to try and deal with, but they all went back to school. And, you know, they're like, it's a weird transition for these kids to go in and out of school. But I think the good news is kids are resilient. What's up?
I feel like you have to be in like a small group would be like perfect. You have like two or three families with a couple kids, and you could put the kids together with like someone that's not a parent that the kids don't like, you know, they just look at as like not a stranger, but someone they respect. Not, you know, it's hard.
It is. It's kind of like if you go to a gun range, the first thing they do is they separate the spouses. They're like, listen, your wife is not going to listen to you when you try to teach her how to shoot a gun. She's too used to you. She doesn't want to. She'll listen to someone else. And I think it's the same with your kids too, because there are groups that I know about where they take turns, you know, with different subjects and different days or weeks. And I think that's a lot more doable than doing it all your own. But Bobby Hexler says, we use a private school online system called Pearson's. It's only $2,500K per year, but the amount of work you have to do as the coach is retarded. So, yeah, that's insane. And then, you know, you look at putting $2,500. Wait, does he say it's only 200? Is it only 2,500K or is it only $2,500? Because I think it means 2,500 because 2.5. Yeah, that'd be 2.5 milli, Bob.
I guess, yeah.
I have no, dude. I can't spell or add on stream, so that's good. That's good. We got this. So yeah, but that is like if you look at what that could be in crypto in the next 2 cycles, it's almost like, why does my kid have to learn anything? Like they could just learn how to manage their portfolio, learn how to manage their crypto, and that's it. Yeah, it says $2,500 a year. I appreciate it. That's what I thought it was, but yeah. Mo says have to know the law in your state, they're all different. Yeah, that's the other thing is some states like require all this stuff for you to prove what you're doing with your kids to homeschool them, and others you could do nothing at all and the state doesn't really care. And then of course a lot of states have a rebate because I mean a lot of tax money is going into each kid, so the families I knew that were doing the homeschooling were getting these nice rebates of thousands of dollars a year because they weren't putting their kids into school. So that's another thing you can look into is the rebates that they'll actually pay you if your kid's homeschooled.
Yeah, use those rebates and then pay for a some kind of tutor or something.
Yeah. He looked at Pearson's. Yeah, I think it was a couple grand. So that's pretty cool. Well,
yeah, there's gonna be a lot more of that too in the future. So I really think you're gonna start seeing like group. Like I'm already seeing one of the apps that I'm on for. It's like it's called Bertaria Times. It's like for like farmers and just local people. You know, no politics, nothing. And there's a huge section for homeschooling on there, and there's all kinds of moms and putting up ideas and programs. And I just never. It used to be like taboo homeschooling when I was growing up, and now it's becoming so, popular. And
yeah, it used to be for the weird kids or for like people that were like Christian scientists or they had like a weird religious reason or personal reason to keep their kids out of school. And now it's just people that are like, I could do better.
All right. My kid need to know 40 genders at 9 years old. Well, I mean, really?
Bobby Exor says Texas is super liberal. You can literally create your own kid's curriculum, but I'm not trying to have my kids live with me forever. LOL. Bristology says, what if I want to teach my kid farming and cooking, aka catching mosquitoes with a bowl and make steaks? That's funny.
You have to go to Africa.
Now, technically, if the mosquitoes are biting you and drinking your blood and then you eat them, that's technically a form of self-cannibalism, right?
I would say so, yeah.
That's weird.
And yeah, if you're eating like your family, then you're drinking like your family. Yeah, it gets kind of out there.
Hex Farmer says, where I live, the money follows the student, even for homeschool. And then Mobius says, that's how it is in North Carolina. She uses 5 or 6 different curriculums. And then Dave Seeley says recycling. Yeah, so it wouldn't be self cannibalism, it'd be recycling. I like that. That's why the left loves it so much. We're getting rid of the carbon footprint of ourselves. That's funny.
I just saw a post that the more carbon in the world, the more plant life and animal life actually thrives because plants and everything eats CO2. I don't know what to believe anymore.
Dude, I was watching Rick and Morty, and someone ran over to pick up like a pop can. And he's like, yeah, that's aluminum. It's like 3% of the Earth's surface, but thanks for doing your part. I love Rick and Morty. We should do a Rick and Morty watch party sometime. If I could figure that out, we'll definitely have to do a Rick and Morty watch party because it's pure, inappropriate humor. And I love all of it. It's actually a really good filter. Like, there's filters for people that you want to hang out with.
Yep.
You ask them what they think of like Rick and Morty, and that's a pretty good filter of if someone's easygoing or not.
Yeah.
Or has a sense of humor.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna bounce. That was awesome hanging out with you, Adam. It was nice to have someone to bounce things off. It was awesome to hang out with Nate Stakes. Big shout out to Nate Stakes. He's the man. He's probably down there working his buns off at his job, and we can't thank him enough for bringing his smiling face and awesome attitude. Like I said, follow Adam at Vibra Finance. Yeah, him and Lindsay put out a lot of interesting information because, there's a lot of rabbit holes, a lot of places to check out here in crypto and in legacy finance that these guys do a good job just checking out a lot of cool little spaces and niches that I didn't know about. He says, Moby says, plants require C2O. Thanks, amigos. Thanks to you both enjoying the stream. Thanks for answering questions. Great stream. Thank you very much. Briss says they find armadillo skeletons the size of Volkswagens in South America, millions of years old. They say everything was bigger when the atmosphere was super thick with carbon. That's interesting. That's some really interesting stuff. I didn't even know that. Armadillo skeletons the size of Volkswagens. That makes me picture like a really like expensive bed frame that people are making out of old petrified armadillo skeletons. That's what we need to do is save up for one of those for RH. He can have a bed like no other. He can flex on everybody. Appreciate that. Yeah, my buddy's here that went with us to Burning Man, and so we're gonna sit down and do a little bit of B-roll and a little voiceover work to throw into our Burning Man video.
Awesome.
So I still have like enough 5-hour energy in me to put thoughts together.
There you go. You still got 4 left.
So, yeah, let me say there's one left in here. I can hear it. I'm gonna finish it off on screen. Let's do this.
There you go. But I don't know how you drink those things.
YOLO.
Yeah. Seriously. Everyone, you should say YOLO. You never know.
I definitely didn't make that basket. I just tried to make it in the trash. But anyway, hey man, cool. Have a great day. Say hi to Lindsay.
Yeah,
give her a hug for us. And
say hi to Jamie.
Yeah,
the photo bombs that she did of those pictures are the best I've ever seen. Lindsay shows me all the time because she just will scroll through her phone and just start laughing, and it's so funny.
That's funny. We'll have to get you and Lindsay on for a Zoom or an interview that we can put in for our Vegas video, because we're going to be doing a Vegas video as well. So I'll reach out to you there. And then all you guys in chat, I'm going to be posting when I do these steak and chill with Hexray. You guys are all welcome. Well, I shouldn't say everyone's welcome on. There's some weirdos out there, but most of the people, if you got a wrench, then I probably trust you to come on stream.
Everyone in the chat's welcome then. Yeah,
come on in for look for these. I'm gonna try to do this like every day, because every day I want to hang out with my friends, and every day there's a lot of people in chat you see here that are they're stuck in a truck.
Yeah,
they're stuck. They're out mowing their lawn. They're trying to get to the gym before it closes and keep their fitness up. And it's a chance to hang out with their friends. It's a chance for us to hang out with you. So I really appreciate the technology of the internet. Dave Seeley says it's like a shot, but it tastes better. Ugh. Look up Archive X channel, Vapor Canopy, or Giant Videos at Bristology. Oh man, things are going sideways quick. Roots Rocka says, "What's up, Hexicans? You're just in time for the end, but watch the replay. Enjoy. And thanks again to Adam. Yeah, and another quick shill. We've been stripping the audio of our tech talks and putting them on Spotify for podcasts. So if you guys want to go back and listen to our old tech talks, like we've got people like Adam on those that are just fire. Like I can't believe how much alpha is dropped, even though they're like 6 months old or 5 months old. We're catching up slowly, and 5 months isn't 30 in crypto, but still, like the stuff that David Feeder's dropping and K4K and these people it's really, really awesome alpha. So check those out and share them with your friends if you have trouble sleeping, or if you want to hear some dad jokes. Jump on there, man. They're ready for you. So appreciate it, guys. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you later. Ciao,
guys.